Hello, Latasha. This is Taylor doing your week 7 discussion board reply. I hope you are doing well here in this almost last week of the course. I enjoyed reading your post thoroughly, and I'm going to jump right into. I love what you said about being culturally sensitive. I think that's a term that is kind of fairly new in maybe not in the counseling realm, but I feel like it's kind of seeping into the day to day like kind of cultural norms of how we just kind of talk, on a day to day basis, and I really like that. I think it's so important as mental health professionals to be culturally sensitive, but also just individuals as well. Um, I love that you talked about human service professionals needing to remember religion and socioeconomic background, but also the trauma portion that you said as well. I think that's so important. I'm actually about to start in a job in for inpatient mental health children's hospital, um, and we have been talking a lot about this, about how to really think about all aspects of the child's before they came to the hospital, and before they, all aspects of the child's life. And, not only to be culturally sensitive, but also to think about, the trauma they've lived or the trauma that they've experienced, even if it was, 10 years ago or something like that. Um, I think that's something we forget. And you talked about, interestingly, having to live in, people from other countries having to live in very different circumstances than what we have grown up here in the U.S. I grew up here in the U.S. in a very privileged position. I'm white in a predominantly white neighborhood and um, family and all of that. Evangelical upbringing. So that was a certain cultural worldview and bias that I came into, that I'm now just kind of learning about how to not have that specific bias going into, with patients and with clients and stuff like that. So it's so important to have that, and I think that's something, and especially, I guess I can only speak from my own experience, but growing up here on the western part of the world, a lot of us, I mean, not all of us, but a lot of, in my experience, the people I've met are in very privileged positions, and we forget, you know, how how different it is to grow up in another country with, like you were saying, with war or with lack of resources or something like that, and that can be similar to, places within North America as well. But um, just having that sensitivity, but also that awareness, that cultural awareness, um, as well. So I loved what you said again about biases. It's just so important. I think it's something that we take for granted, that like we don't really realize that we have implicit bias, or explicit bias, or any type of bias going into any environment, any conversation, any interaction with a human. So it's just important to like check yourself and to realize um, that this may be, if you're going into a situation that's different than yours, to just, not have that. Check yourself and not have that bias. So I appreciate your post, and I hope you have a great week. And yeah, keep up the great work. All right, bye.